presenting them? No, we're good? I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really just flows. Once you get into it, it just flows. It comes to you second nature. You'll be serving bottles of wine in your sleep. You're dreaming about it.
It's going to give you more confidence too.
Right.
And learn the selling vocabulary.
Yeah.
So when somebody asks, you don't say, well, let me go ask.
Right.
You're going to know more than what that customer knows. And it's going to be to your advantage.
This whole page I tried really hard not to highlight, but this is a really good page too to read through. Basics.
This page. Selling wine.
Right. Selling wine. So you want to
Page
always
18.
Suggesting is selling. So a lot of times you can get a little extra sales, a little wine sales in there. If people are like, oh, well, I haven't looked at the menu yet. Oh, what would you like to start with? Or would you like to begin with a glass of Prosecco? I try not to use the terms start or things that could be related to a car, because it's not a car, it's an experience that you're doing. So would you like to begin with a glass of wine or a cocktail or whatnot? That's your first time when you go to your table, that's your first opportunity to sell. So a lot of people will be like, well, I don't know really what I want. Selling Prosecco, that's like easy. Right there you get, okay, would you like Prosecco to begin with? And say, yeah, sure. A lot of people have a cocktail before their appetizers, before they even decide to have anything. So that's an extra, $6 that you just added to your tab. Super easy to sell that part, most of the time. And especially sometimes people will want a bottle of wine, but they don't know which one that they want. So then you can, right, or what they're gonna eat, so Prosecco is just easy to be able to sell that at the beginning of the meal. When it goes to the end of the meal, I'm gonna stop this for 2 seconds because I forgot to say this. This cork will never fit back into here. Okay? So when you go to package up a wine to sell for people to take it home, so on your still wines, right, you pull it out, it'll have the wine at the bottom of it, so you just flip the cork over, and then I like to take it in the back
and push it
in
with the wall.
Yeah, I use my hip and
I
push
use it on the wall.
Yep. Other things that I have, tricks of the trade. If somebody doesn't finish their Prosecco, if you keep this little cage in your pocket,
Twist it back
you can put one of these on, a normal still cork, put it in there, put the cage back on. At least it'll help it. It'll keep it from
in.
spilling in their car or,
and
shooting
building
up.
up pressure and popping off.
And definitely make sure that the guest knows, this isn't a great fix to
For
keep in
your
your fridge,
protection.
but it's just to get it home for you.
Right.
That's good. That's a good note. Yeah.
So, and it's good to remind the people that they can take home what they don't finish.
Sparkling.
Yep.
Because not everybody knows that.
Right. I don't know if I want a whole bottle. Well, if you don't
Right.
finish it, you can take it.
Right. And there's so
Right.
much.
If you're at 2 glasses already, you might as well get the bottle.
Yep.
We had that
Exactly.
last night. Somebody
Exactly.
asked that about
Mhm.
taking.
Yeah.
You said yes. We can take. You can take it.
Wine is one thing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. Do you have bags that you put it in to go or anything?
No.
Just the brown bags.
Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of paper bag.
Paper
And then
bag.
okay, so isn't it in Michigan law that you're supposed to put? It's like ridiculous. You put the cork, you put a piece of tape over.
No,
it.
no.
And then
we
staple
don't
the
do. We never
bag
did.
shut.
Nope.
When you're
No.
doing growlers, a lot of them
Mhm.
do reseal. They do have little vacuum or heat
It's not the
seals,
law.
But no,
No.
you
It
can.
doesn't have to be in a bag or.
No, and we do. Well,
We do put it in
we
a
put
bag.
it in a bag.
But
We don't have to put it in a thing. And one thing about
that
staples.
was years ago.
We've had issues here where people staple the pizza bags, and we have people calling back and say, "Hey, I found a staple in." It's nothing to do with the wine, but it has happened. We do not staple bags, so don't be tempted to staple the bag. Just fold it. It's their responsibility to keep it straight. For the reason being that they find staples and they think we did it in the kitchen, and we don't do that. Okay, so
Okay.
no staples.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of beer places, like if you're getting growlers to go or whatever, they'll do those little heat seals on them, And I think
Yeah,
that's
and,
more. I think that's more of like
one-
if you're giving it as a gift to somebody or something that they know you purchased it and it's sealed and
Yeah.
it's
But
fresh
if
or whatever,
once
but-
they're in the car, they can drink it on the way home. I don't care.
and then you know
we can
Right.
babysit them.
Right.
You know? Our responsibility is to put it in the bag, give it to them, let them do
Right.
what they want to do once they're out.
Well,
there,
I mean,
you know?
hopefully they don't, because then we won't get a repeat customer.
That's for sure. But we can babysit them.
Right.
Sure.
That I mean, keeping the cage like that's helps a lot with
Yeah,
sparkling
Okay,
I
wines.
never
good.
thought about that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
And that's the
Or
type
just
of
have a little
wine.
basket of them. You know what I mean? That
Well, we keep the corks. And these
No,
wines,
the cages.
the cage, right? But we save even
We
the
should
cage.
save a couple.
So even if we do.
We do?
So remember that they have to be the colder the better. So you don't want to hold them so long and without the ice that it's going to be warm, especially if you serve in the summertime or when
Yeah.
it's warmer outside. You know, the colder the better. So quick.
All white wines should be brought to a table with a chiller.
We have the chiller. No, we never use that because
I think I'm the only one I've ever seen use them.
okay, but we
The
do have
stand?
it. No, the chiller. We have an actual chiller by the
The-
bar
like the
with the
stone
chiller
one?
that goes
The oval
inside.
one?
I don't even
No,
know
no,
what
no,
you're
no. I'll
talking
show
about.
you.
Chiller, yeah. I
you're
don't
talking
know.
about the stone. Like the
No,
stone
no, no,
thing
no.
with
We
the
have like a
bottles
ice. It's not an ice bucket. Smaller than an ice bucket,
It's like a plastic, it's electronic, it chills the bottle.
and we
Oh,
have
so it's
the
like
wrapper.
The stone ones too.
No, the one that we have. When we have the wrapper that's inside the freezer, it's like those ice pack that you put on when you bruise. You put it around the bottle and you put it inside that thing. And but because we're not open in the summer, we never really actually use it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've never-
but we've had we've had issues where the wine
take
just
them.
came in and it's not cold
Oh, yeah,
enough,
that happens
and
for
we
sure.
have used it right away in order to serve the wine. No, it's better than put it inside the ice bin.
And I think that
We had that happen quite a few times.
in my personal experience, sparkling wines should always be chilled.
Yes,
When you bring them out to the table, you should have an ice bucket.
right.
Some Pinot Grigios, Chardonnays, things like that you can get more flavors when it warms up a little bit. But that's really all on the guests how they want to drink it. But I would just bring out a
They
chiller
can pour
just in
their
case.
glass and let it rest.
Right. It's a good point too. You always want to be the one that's pouring the wine at the table, unless the guest is like, "No, I got it. It's totally cool." But like that's your job as a server to.
And
pour the
and if
wine.
you go for the second one, that's gonna increase your
Yeah.
because people are gonna say, "Wow, he's paying attention," you know. Go
And-
back another sip.
And yeah, you could pour a larger pour and get through that bottle.
And
Right,
finish that
finish
bottle.
that bottle.
Yeah.
Be like,
Right.
"Oh."
Rather than them just being like, "Oh, I'll just take a little bit of this."
It's not a bar where you're gonna get them
Right.
drunk. You know, they're eating, so yes, you can do
right.
that, and they're gonna notice that you pay attention that their glass is empty. You know.
And it gives you a really easy way to check on your table too. Like if you're wondering where they're at, if they like their meal or whatnot, like it's just easy to go over there. Like same, even carry a water pitcher over there, fill up the water, and refill their glasses of wine at the same time. It gives you an excuse to go over there, and, rather than just sitting there and be like, "Everything okay?"
Right. Right. Well, just think. You're refilling the water. It's not gonna give you a tip, but you're refilling the wine. They're gonna say,
Right.
You know, another piece of pizza or another bite of thing. That's attention.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, so this page, if you know your wine list, the more you know, the better. Like she said, the more you know about your wine list, about the food that you have, the easier it's going to be, and the more you sell the wine, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. And the more you taste, honestly, the more you taste and pair things on your own, it really will help you in pairing things in the future. Or for the wines that you don't get to taste, you don't get to sample this one off the menu, but it's like $100 a bottle, but you kind of get the idea of what it is, so you can glorified BS it,
Right.
and you would be able to get that sell without having to taste it, because you kind of know how that style of wine would be paired with that type of food.
Mm-hmm. So take a menu home, a wine menu home if you need to, and make notes what people tell you when they drink it. You know, and then you can say, hey, I just sold this bottle and they told me it was this or whatever. Notes for yourself. So
Keep it in
promote
your book
promote
or
one
whatever.
wine. You know, pretend that you've been drinking so much of it that you know what it's like.
Right.
Yeah.
These two paragraphs are, well, these three paragraphs are the
Timing
best.
matters.
Yep. It's ask the table if they would like any recommendations. If you tried something, if you have tried something you really like, it's always an easier sell. But remember, you won't be drinking the wine, so ask them questions, ideas of what they're looking for dinner, what they usually drink. Make sure your recommendation suits the tables. And then upsell. If a guest orders Cabernet, offer them 2 choices from the by the glass list, and don't default just to the house because it's the least expensive option. If 2 or more guests order the same selection, ask if they would like a bottle. Bring the bottle to the table immediately after it's ordered. This gives the table a chance to drink, enjoy the wine before the food arrives, and it improves the chances that the table will get a second glass or a bottle with dinner. Super great information there. I couldn't have said it better just explaining it to you guys. Some questions that you can ask, well, what do you typically drink? Do you typically like something sweet? Do you like something that's more dry? Are you interested in having an entree with red sauce, or are you thinking of a seafood dish? Those are some kind of questions that you can use to gauge your guest if they want to talk to you. Sometimes they don't. They say, well, I don't know. But you have to gauge your guests, but those are some probing questions. That you
Display your fake knowledge,
Right.
okay? Because it's going to make a bigger tip.
Right. And like those questions just made me sound knowledgeable when really I could have just totally BS in thinking in my head the whole time I'm going to sell you Pinot Grigio
Right.
because that's what I know that you're going to get. But it makes you sound smart. We already talked about that. When the bottle's empty, you want to clear it off the table.
Yes.
And it helps you get that second bottle sale too. Because if the bottle's still sitting there, like if
They
the
think
bottle
that
is
there's
here
still something in
and
it.
you're over there, that person's still gonna think that there's wine in there. And then if these people are like, oh no, we don't have any wine on the table, we want to get more. So as long as if it's gone, clear it. Selling vocabulary, these are some cool different things. Negative words, yes, you shouldn't. Could be used as bad qualities in a wine, but they're just not as nice and pretty as the positive list. But like heavy, that's an okay thing to say.
Yeah,
Wine's heavy. If it's sour, strong, or some people you hear that in a Sauvignon Blanc, you get grapefruit tastes in there, and people are like, oh, that's sour. Well, that's what it's supposed to be.
Or when they say the Chianti should have been sweet.
Right.
There's no Chianti that is sweet, you know?
And then these next pages talks about pairing food and wine. You can read that on your own time. It's as a general rule, matching light dishes to light wines, medium to medium, heavy to heavy works. You don't want the dish to overwhelm the wine or the wine to overwhelm the dish. Some exceptions can occur. You can contrast, so like heavy fatty foods such as fettuccine alfredo and ribeyes pairs very well with a bright acidic wine as long as the other components kind of work too. It's just a general rule to think about. A lot of people go back to like this on these 10 commandments, right? The old rule, red wine with meat, white wine with fish or fowl. It's true, but there's some leniency in there.
Now it's pretty much whatever you like, drink it.
There's gonna be some wines that are gonna pair better, but if you're coming out and you want a Syrah with fettuccine alfredo, that's what you want today.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's gonna mess up kind of the flavors of your dish, but that's what you want. Is what you want.
Right.
So some people would say, that I want like this deep red with
And
this
some
white
don't
pasta.
pair. They
That's
are
fine.
only white wine drinkers or only red
Right.
wine drinkers, no matter what they're eating.
Right.
It doesn't pair.
Right. It all comes down to like the guest wants ultimately, but you can suggest them in the right direction. These are 10 commandments. They always work. The one thing that I want to point out, fruitiness and sugar are often confused. Wines will be fruity, but they're not necessarily sweet. Like Chianti, for example, it has a lot of fruit flavors to it, but it's not a sweet wine. But some wines can be perceived as sweeter because they remind the drinker of like strawberries or watermelon, but it's that flavor of, not the sweetness of the fruit. I may have made that way too complicated. But no, it's good? Okay. And then in this book we're getting to the very end. These are common varietals, good to look through. It gives you basic, this is what to expect in common descriptors. of the certain wines.
And we have them all, so
Yep.
you can, you know, if they say, well, what's a Sangiovese? Well, just pretty much study, because this is what's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Like I had the customer the other night, they wanted that red wine that I watch people drink on TV. Remember that?
Well, that's open ended.
Yeah.
So his wife said, well, he drinks Bud Light normally. I said, okay, well, let me bring you a glass, taste of something. So I gave him a taste of the Cusumano, and he said, well, it's kind of dry. I said, well, you don't sit down and drink this to get drunk. You drink it with the meal. I said, wait until you pair with the food. Then you order big spaghetti, I think. Anyway, so he drank the first glass before I gave him the dinner. But he wanted another one, and when he got done, he said, well, now I can see why they like it on TV.
On TV.
That is so silly. So I could, run through these for you, but you can read those on your own time. It's just a basic knowledge of the wines. Glossary has really cool things if you want to sound smart. Has cool different actual descriptors so you can actually know what people are talking about, like lees, and the finish, and umami, and what a tannin is. Tannin comes from the grape stems and the skins, and how much that's left in the wine barrel. That's where the tannin comes from. It gives it kind of like a bitter kind of a flavor.
Some people are allergic to it, and that's why they stick with the whites.
This one is a really cool page. I like to point this one out. I know it's at the very end of the book, but these two. Okay, so this is the globe, right? And if you fold it directly in half, those are the wine growing regions in the world. So you're going to get the same type of. If they grow here, they can grow here, and if they grow here, they can grow down here. It's kind of really neat way to think about it, even though it is, because it still has because it gets colder up here and colder down there, so it's just kind of flip-flop, but those are the only areas that you can grow the wine in.
So it's a certain temperature region based on the equator.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool to look at it, because and if you look at it all the way around, so Michigan, right, we're in the same parallel as Germany, right? So a lot of the wines there, like the Riesling, Gewürztraminer, things like that, even Pinot Grigio,
Are gonna taste
it's
the
gonna
same.
Similar.
and are gonna grow here too. So that's why you get a lot of
regions
Michigan.
that experience more seasons.
Yeah.
Affect the growing and.
Right. Like you're not gonna grow. I mean, some places now with technology and greenhouses and all that, you can get a good Cabernet from Michigan if you wanted to, but they would outsource their grapes typically, and they would age it in an environmentally controlled area. So with the way technology is, you can get a lot of different things that you wouldn't technically think would grow, but they do. So that's just kind of a nice kind of thing to think about, especially when it comes to describing wines. Okay, so Napa,
I just had a pain in my stomach.
Napa, California, right? It's on the same parallel. So that would taste, the wines from over here is going to taste similar to the things over here.
North Africa.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yep.
All right, cool. Done with this book. Take it home. Love it.
Study it.